Okay, so we have our OutUV map saved. Now we can get to the design portion. So we can take that OutUV file and put it into whatever graphic design kind of program that you want to do your edits in. I'm gonna go to Photoshop and bring in that file. So here I'm going File, open, and then let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here it goes. So I'm going to do my Lego head out UV TIFF, yeah, which we did save the last time. Immediately, what you notice in here is that we can see very barely your out UV textures, yeah, so your UV boundaries. So immediately, I'm going to go to my layers and rename it. By the way, if you don't see layers, check your tabs on here. See if you can find it there. If you don't see it, you can find it in your window menu. Yeah, and so just make sure that is checked. I'm gonna double click on this layer though and rename it. So this will just be my UV guide, yeah, layer. So that'll let me know, okay, that's going to be my pattern. Just to make things easier for us to see, I'm also gonna make a new layer, so I can click on this little plus button down over here. That'll create my layer 1. I'm gonna rename that to background layer. Yeah, so that'll be my background one. I'm also gonna make sure, as far as placement goes, that the UV guide layer is above this. Yeah, so that'll be our order. For our background layer, oh sorry, for the UV guide layer, actually, we're gonna make sure that we don't accidentally color on this. This is only a guide. Yeah, so I'm gonna click on the lock button for that. Then I'm gonna go to my background layer and fill in the background. The quickest way is usually to use the paint bucket tool. So you can press G for that, and it'll click on this button right here. If you do not see your paint bucket, and that's possible, you may see something like this, which is the gradient tool. Just click and hold down on that gradient button, and then you can then choose it from the menu, drop down menu that pops up. Yeah, so just make sure you're in the paint bucket tool. As far as the background color goes, I usually just end up going with like a black, just so that it's has a nice little contrast. So I'm putting in, you can, if you need the number, by the way, it's all zeros, yeah, or you can click and drag within your color picker. Either way is great. And then we're gonna go ahead and drop that off over there. All right, so that's our background layer. I'm gonna lock that one up also. Okay, so we have our two lock layers. We're really not gonna touch these almost at all while putting together your design. I'm also gonna click on the plus sign to create a mid layer in between the UV guide layer and our background layer. This one I'm just gonna call, let's see, let's go with skin tone layer. Yeah, so I'll label it that. As far as this one goes, super easy. I'm then gonna go to my color picker and choose like a color that I think the Lego should be. This is gonna depend, of course, on what you wanted, what you chose for your design. Yeah, I'm just picking the generic Lego yellow. Okay, so that should look pretty good. From here, I can then go into my brush tools. Yeah, so feel free to do that and pretty much drop off and color this in. Of course, if you ever want to, like, you can kind of brush it like this a little bit. If you want to increase your brush size, feel free to use your brackets on your keyboard. So left bracket will shrink down your brush, which is not going to help us too much here. But if you right bracket it, yeah, you can create a much larger brush. Yeah. So one of the cool things about doing an out UV is that as you're building this, you can kind of brush it, but as you're doing that, you don't really have to stay within the lines. Yeah. Anything that's in like just in this out UV that's not it's not within the boundary of the UVs. Yeah. Any of that stuff is not going to really affect anything. Yeah. So if I'm coloring outside the lines, there's not really any kind of consequences for that. The only thing you don't want to do, of course, is accidentally color within the boundaries of some place that you um, in the boundaries of some place that you wanted to have like a different look to. Okay, so let's see, I got almost everybody. So you got this one over here. Okay, and again, just kind of making sure that I have everything covered. Okay, and let's see, we can jump to there about. All right, so that's going to be my base color. That's my skin tone layer. Usually what I'll end up doing when I'm working on these is I'll make sure that I end up locking a layer if I'm not using it. Yeah, so skin tone layer, I'm going to just kind of lock that. Okay, last thing I'm going to do here is, because I'm not going to be putting too much detail on this Lego face for this style, is just put in the face features. Yeah, so I'm going to do a face features layer. Okay, and again, yours may end up like differing quite significantly from what I'm doing. For the face features, I'm gonna go straight to black again, so all my zeros are gonna show up over there for my color. Also bring down my brush size. I can also bring up a guide, of course, to kind of see what this should look like. I'm kind of looking on here. Let's see what I got. Let's see if I have a guide. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so I can kind of draw in the face over here. So maybe I'm kind of looking for the main area. So maybe like right about here, I can kind of drop off an eye. 1, 2, 3, and then drop this off maybe about here. Yeah, so there's gonna be my eyes. Looks like they're a little bit far apart. And then I think he's usually smiling, so I'm gonna kind of draw that in as well. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. All right, so something like that. Yeah. All right, so super basic. Again, not the best drawing on the world, but I kind of wanted to get that in place so we can test it. Yeah. I'm then going to go to my UV guide. Yeah, and I'm getting ready to export this out and test it on my character. So I'm going to hide my UV guide over here. Okay, and then this is the actual texture that I'm going to put on the character. I'm going to also save this. Yeah, so I'm going to save this twice. Yeah, my first save is just going to be saving it the same name as in the same format and everything, same name as the original, because this is the editable one. This has all of our layers. Yeah, so we're going to save one time right off the bat and replace that original one. Yeah. Okay, and I'm just going to take the regular, whatever settings they asked me to keep, yeah. And yes, I definitely want to keep those layers though. All right, and then now I'm also going to be saving this as a format that Maya can read. That's not too large, yeah. It can also read TIFFs, yeah. But I'm gonna change this secondary format, and looks like I can't quite save it over here in the save option. So I'm actually gonna go to File, choose Export, and choose the Export As option. Yeah, so File, Export, Export As. Okay, from here, I'm gonna check my formats, PNG or JPEG. Yeah, either of those are great. I'm probably just gonna stick with the JPEG for now. Okay, and I like all the rest of these settings. So I'm gonna click on Export. When we're saving the name, I'm gonna be very I'm intentional on this. Yeah, so for the Lego head, I'm gonna put this at Lego head, and I'm gonna just put down basic. Yeah, so I'm gonna name it basic. This gives me a few more options. I can actually kind of toggle between different materials, yeah, depending on what look I want. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do here is make sure that this is going to the folder that Maya is going to be looking for when it looks for textures. So I'm going to go into Documents, Maya, Projects, find the project that you're currently in, and click on that one. I only have one, yeah, I only have my default here, and then drop it off in your source images folder. Okay, once you have that, you can go ahead and save. And then the Photoshop section is temporarily done. I'm going to come back and try out another thing in a minute. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go back down to my, I'm going to go back to Maya here. Okay, and then we're going to apply a new material. Yeah, so apply a new material over to this head over here. So I'm gonna get back into object mode. So right click object mode, assign a new material here. I don't need it to be too like shiny, so maybe I'll go with like a Fong E over here, and then immediately name this. Yeah, so this is Lego head basic, and then put material on here, so that'll give me that option. Yeah, and then for the color field, I'm just going to click on the checker box next to color, go to File. Okay, that'll get me to these two tabs. Just make sure you're on the File tab, and then we're going to go to the image name, find the folder. Yeah, so very similar to how we did the UV map, and then this time I'm just going to choose the Lego head basic, drop that off and see how that looks. All right, and there it is. Okay, so Yeah, there's my Lego face. Again, yeah, I think the eyes are kind of far apart, but that's okay. Yeah, I can kind of work with that. All right, so that's gonna be the basic face. Now, I'm probably not gonna run with this. I kind of want to do something a little bit more, um, just a little bit more out of the, a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna jump back to Photoshop. This time I'm gonna kind of look at my layers. Yeah, so if you notice, I have my face features layer and my skin tone layer. I am going to unlock my skin tone layer, and I'm gonna group these two together. Yeah, so holding down shift, I'm selecting both of these layers, and then just kind of doing a command G. Yeah, so command G to group these two together. I'm gonna rename this. This is just gonna be my basic um, head design. Yeah, so there's my basic head design. I'm kind of putting these together, and then I'm just gonna lock that layer. That way I can actually click on the eyeball and hide it. Yeah, now remember about this UV guide, the great thing is we can now start to make our we can make a whole bunch of different designs in here and just keep or exporting out new JPEGs. Yeah, so you can modify your character um, super simple from here. Yeah, because our map is good, yeah, and all of that. Okay, so I'm gonna make a new layer on top of the basic head design, and I'm gonna like work in this Lego. I'm gonna kind of turn it into like more like I guess like a Deadpool kind of design. So I'm gonna kind of drop that off over here, just so I can kind of see what I'm looking at. Very simple design. He's actually like I believe the actual story behind Deadpool is that like he's pretty much just a he started off as like a Spider-Man knockoff as far as his costume goes. Yeah, I think the creator will probably deny that, but like yeah, the similarities are a little too similar. Yeah, but anyway, we're gonna jump into my coloring for this one. So now I'm gonna go ahead and find a Deadpool red, which is like yeah, kind of right, like a yeah, blood red. So we go down to about here, click on OK. All right, and then now that I have this new layer, I can kind of put this down as Deadpool base, yeah, layer. So I'll leave that down. We will go with the brush again. Okay, bring up the brush size. Okay, and I'm just dropping in the color. Again, you do not have to necessarily be doing this. Hopefully, as you're working on yours, yeah, you're taking the time to just kind of put in whatever details you think you need, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna drop this off. Again, just make sure that you have everything when your UV's covered. If not, that black is gonna kind of show through when you are putting in your um, when you're putting in your material in Maya. All right. Okay, so there's all my colors. Okay, I'm then going to kind of go in here and make his details. So I will lock this layer, new layer on top. Here is my Deadpool face or mask. Sorry, mask features. Yeah. All right, and then I can kind of draw this in. Yeah, so I know this is my center line right over here, which is super helpful. I can then kind of go into like, yeah, my brush. Let's see if I can shrink that down. We'll go with the kind of fake Spider-Man eyes. Sorry, I gotta kind of lay off on that. But yeah, and then I'm gonna draw that in. Yeah, so here's my, and let me make sure that I'm actually on my midpoint. Yeah, so I think this is my midpoint right here. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of draw this on the side. All right, and then we'll just kind of take a look at that. All right, and then we don't have to do too much here. Yeah, so, woo, bad drawing. All right, okay, so I can kind of use that right there. Okay, and then we can kind of take a look at the, yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty close. Okay, so you can kind of, maybe I'll just bring this up and over a little bit. Okay, cool thing again about layers is that like I'm kind of messing up right now because I have this a little bit too high, but I can also move this around. Yeah, so after I drew that in, I can then go to my move tool and like click and drag it. So actually I think it should be more down about here. Yeah, so that should be about the spot. If I want to reuse this, I can. So I'm just gonna take this image. I can go up to layer, I can duplicate that layer, so I have a secondary one. Yeah, so here's my secondary one over here. And then I can kind of flip this, so I can go edit, transform. I could do flip horizontal. Yeah, so edit, transform, flip horizontal. Sorry, that's not going to fit on the screen. Okay, that'll give me a secondary side, and then this one I can kind of drop off on the other side. Yeah, so I can kind of drop that off over here. All right, so I do have those two things going. The other thing I'm gonna do here is put in the eyeball. If you notice right here too, these two are separate right now. I'll keep them separate just so that I can kind of still make edits on it. I'm just gonna rename this, yeah, so I'll put one at, sorry, left eye, and the other one will be right eye, yeah. Okay, and then last thing I really need is the eyeball, so I'm gonna put in a color for that. Should be white, I think. So drop that off. Okay, and then zoom in a little bit. Okay, real simple mask. So you can see why I kind of chose this as an example. Yeah, just drop off an eye over there. Okay, and then oh, sorry, that was for the left eye. Whoops. Okay, and so I can drop off an eye right over here. Yeah, so there's his eye right there, and then I'll do the same thing on this side. Yeah, so I have both eyes on there. Okay, that'll kind of work. And so what I can then do here is minimize, sorry, hide my UV guide layer. I got my two layers for my Deadpool mask, yeah, and plus my base layer. So I'm just gonna unlock all three of those, hold down the shift key, grab all three, Command G right to group it, and then now I have a second group, yeah, and this will be my Deadpool head design, yeah, so I can kind of drop that off, lock it up. Okay, and then we do have these two right here, yeah. So remember, yeah, I still have my original Lego one and my Deadpool one. I can then export this out. So same thing, yeah. File, save, yeah, to make sure you are saving your OutUV. Remember that has all your layers in it. I'm also going to go to export, export as. I'll keep it as a JPEG, yeah, so I can click on export on here, but I'm going to make sure that I'm renaming this time, yeah, so it's going back to my source images, which is perfect. Okay, I'm going to go, instead of having this name Lego Basic, I'll put this as Deadpool, and then click on save. All right, and that should be good. All right, and then now when I go back to my Maya, I can then actually see how this mask looks. So now I'm going to click on this one, right click on it. Again, I'll assign a new material. I'll go with the fungi. I really like the look of that. Yeah, and then this time I'm going to put Deadpool head material. Yeah. Okay, so super simple. Click on the checkerboard next to color, go to file, click on the folder. Let's find that material. There it is. Okay, and click on open. All right, and then now we got a cool little face. All right, and then I can kind of work off of that. Yeah, so that's basically how we are texturing the head. Okay, next thing we're gonna get into is texturing the body, and we'll kind of pick up the pace a little bit.